today I am starting on the boots. These are the original boots that I bought. They are patent leather, which the actual Queen's boots aren't, but I couldn't find anything in this sort of style that looked good enough. So I ended up going with these, and I'm actually really happy with them. The heel isn't actually too high, so I'm not going to hurt myself when I walk in them. And yeah, they're actually pretty comfortable, so yeah, they just do it with the zip. So this is the original boot, and I've been working on a pattern to try and fit the stones on. Now, I could have just started gluing them on straight away, but I just know that I would have completely screwed it up if I did. So I basically have some 4mm red and silver rhinestones here, and some E6000 glue. I started out this pattern by looking at an image of the newest Cleves boots, the knee-high ones, and you can see on the heel that each colour is a row of 2, and you have like four up and down of each colour, if that makes any sense. So I basically just took some tracing paper and traced around the heel so then I could get a flat pattern, and I just used some basic glue and glued these rhinestones on. So it works out that if I start here at the 4 and then just keep going around the bottom, I can basically fit all of the 4 zigzags in with the red, and I just keep following the heel upwards, and you can see they start to get a bit spaced up around the top, but that's because the heel of this boot, you can see on this one here, it's curved here, which makes it a lot more difficult because now the top is wider than the bottom, so I still have to try and fit the rhinestones in. But there's not that much of a big gap, and when you look at the actual heels made, there are actually some gaps in them too, so I'm not too worried. It's not going to look too bad. So yeah, that's my paper pattern. So I'm basically going to keep this pattern just in case I need to go back for reference, and I'm going to start gluing them on the heel. I'm basically just going to spread a thin layer of E6000, and then I use this wax nail art pen to pick up the gemstones, and then you can stick them on. So yeah, it's just gonna be a really long process of sticking these on individually. So I'm gonna be here a while. I'm actually kind of looking forward to just the mindless task of just doing this. I need to relax. Now, speaking of rhinestoning, I did end up rhinestoning my microphone. I basically ended up buying these rhinestones. They're 3mm, and I thought they were a bit too small for the shoe, but I didn't really want to send them back, and I thought it was a waste of money, so I thought, I know the Queen's microphones aren't bedazzled, but I wanted to use them up, and I thought, why not try? And I'm pretty happy. I decided not to do the zigzags over the whole microphone. 1, that's just time consuming, and 2, I wasn't sure if it would be a bit too much, so I just basically decided to do it around the top and then add alternating red and silver for the rest of the mic. And you know what, I think it's actually pretty cute. I know the actual microphones are like covered with like some sort of holographic paper or gold paper or something, but I actually kind of like this, and it ties it in with the shoes, because obviously the only part of the costume that's bedazzled are the shoes, so it's kind of like a nice callback to that. So yeah, that was basically just the same process. E6000, rhinestones, leave it to dry, and that's what we get. So yeah, oh god, okay, well that's probably broken now. So I finished one boot heel, and I'm really happy with it. It turns out that the gemstones aren't actually as spaced out as you'd expect them to be, so it's not really obvious. So from a distance they look pretty good, unless you're like looking up really close, then you can kind of see they're a little bit wonky, but I was kind of expecting that. They're not really perfect. So that's one heel done. I think I am going to do the heel on the other boot, just while sort of the pattern and the process is in my head, so at least I can get them to relatively match. And then I'm going to go around and stick on the gems onto this part, and then obviously on the rest of the boot itself. So I think I'm going to do the next heel. So, oh, wish me luck. both heels are now done. It's taken a couple of days to get these done. It didn't actually take as long as I thought it would, but because this is quite repetitive, you just kind of don't think about it and then you just do it. I realised that on the boot I did first, I had a little part of the pattern wrong, as in I had like 2 gems along the top that were wrong, so I managed to just kind of dig my nail into the glue and pull them off and stick new ones on, so thankfully you can't tell. So yeah, the boots are now exactly the same. Obviously it started from the inside on this one, and obviously it's flipped for the other one. But yeah, they both are the same. So yeah, the heels are now done, and I am now going to start on the strap part of the boot itself. I was going to undo the strap from like the buckle and stick them on, but I don't trust being able to get them back in the buckle once the rhinestones are on. Like, I think it might be too thick to get it back in. So I'm going to start around the zip area here and work my way around and just kind of stick them around the buckle. I've tried them on just to make sure that they are the right size, done up as well, so that's all good. So yeah, I'm going to start sticking the rhinestones on here, and I basically have another little test pattern that I did. It's basically just kind of the same zigzags, but smaller. So this is like rows of 4, whereas this is rows of 3. So yeah, there you go. That's basically what I'm going to do. So, you know, this video is not very exciting because it's just sticking rhinestones on. But yeah, the next thing to do is that, basically. That's what we're doing. Yay, fun! I'm going to start going cross-eyed soon. The straps are now done on both boots. They both are like identical, so you can see here that's how I finished one and that's how I finished the other. So as you can see, they are both completely exactly the same, and it makes me happy that I managed to not mess it up. So now the last thing to do is to add the rhinestones on the boot. So I'm going to sort of start around here, stick a row on, and then make my way up. I think, or I might start one like right in the middle of the shoe and then go back round. Yeah, but hopefully this won't take too long because it's not really close together. It's just like dotted like that, so shouldn't take too long, hopefully. The boots are now finished. They are still drying, so I don't want to keep touching them, but I didn't film myself gluing these on because it's literally the same process as the heels and the straps, so I just thought there's no point. I did this all freehand, just trying to match them up as best as I can. They aren't perfect. There are some little differences if I try and turn this one around carefully. It turns out that this sort of part here and this part here are slightly different, but it actually turns out that the shoes themselves have been sewn awkwardly and like different. So you can see here this curve is quite flat, this one is quite arched, so that it's not going to be perfect. So I just kind of did it as best as I could, and they still look pretty much the same. The toes look a little bit strange, but as Jenna Marbles used to say, have the too much gene, and I definitely do, and if I'd wanted to fix it, I know I would have messed it up. So I'm just leaving them as they are for now. If I kind of want to change them, maybe I will, but I'd rather not. But yeah, I'm happy with them, so I'm going to let them dry overnight and then try them on tomorrow. But I think they look okay. There's, yeah, it sort of goes all the way around the edge of the shoe, boot, whatever they are. So yeah, that's basically the process. So I'm just going to let them dry overnight before looking back on them properly and deciding if I like them or not. I think I do, but that might be because I think I am part magpie, because I'm obsessed with anything shiny or glittery. I joke that like sparkles are my trademark as a cosplayer. Most of my costumes have some form of sequin or rhinestone or something on them, or glitter. And Cleves is no exception. So here I am again, staring at sparkles, and yes, I am pretty happy with them. But again, we'll see when they're dry tomorrow, so let's find out. Okay, so the boots are done. I'm now going to start on the crowns, hair pieces, whatever they are. I can't decide which one I want to do, so I'm going to do both. So some queens have like a headband with the spikes going around like this, and some Cleves and Pa, for example, have like a hairpiece that goes back on the sides. They have like two with some spikes on. Now I can't decide what I want to do with my hair yet because my hair is really temperamental and I can't style it very well. So I was going to do like a faux mohawk like some Cleves have, but I know that some days my hair just will not cooperate with me. So I figure if I make both, then at least I can just go with whatever my hair wants to do that day. So I've bought a bunch of different, well, they're called cones, but I call them spikes. So I've got some tallish ones here. I did buy these ones, but I think they're actually a little bit too small, but I don't know, they might be useful. And I've got some medium-sized ones here, which are better. So I think with this, I'm gonna have like a tall spike, a medium, a tall, a medium, tall, medium, blah, blah, blah. You get what I mean. I think that's what I'm gonna do. And I'm just gonna glue them on, I think, with the same glue I used for the shoes because it's quite strong glue. And I think this will be pretty good. So yeah, we'll just have a nice little headband. One crown done. Ignore the fact my hair looks disgusting, but I've just got back from work and the glue's finally dried, so yeah, there you go. So I am redoing my crowns. These are the ones I made. I hate them. I haven't even finished them. That's how much I was just like, no, these are not going to be happening. So the ones I have two for each side. I have this one, which is my long spikes and like the medium size ones, and then I have the small ones. So this one will go like here, and then the little ones will go like there. But I'm not a fan of these at all, so I'm going to remake them. My plan is to use the shiny vinyl that I've been using on the actual costume. I have used like leather for these ones, but it's too thick and yeah, no. So I'm basically going to make these longer and a little bit wider. I basically bought some like normal clips, like the little snappy clip, I don't know what they're called. Those kind of clips to glue on the bottom, and then I was just gonna clip them into my hair, but I don't think it's gonna work. So what I'm doing instead is using horsehair braid on the bottom, and I'm gonna use that to bobby pin into my hair, and I think that is somewhat what they do on the shows. I think they have some kind of thing that they just bobby pin into the wigs. So that is my plan. I'm hoping I can get these done in one night. I don't think I will, but at least get most of it done, because sewing the strips are quite quick, and then adding the studs, I literally just have to punch holes in, and these are like screw-in ones. I don't know whether you can see. So we have like the spike, and then the screw back is separate, so I literally just have to screw them in, and then they're ready to go. I'm going to apologise for any mess you see on camera. As of right now, I have literally just finished making the bolero today. And I've been making that for months, so this room has got very messy over those months, full of scraps and threads and bits of trim and random studs, so I apologise for the mess. But there is no point me tidying it up, because as soon as I put it all away, I'm going to make a mess again. So there we go. So I'm starting off with some of this stuff here, which is horsehair braid. I've basically decided I want mine to be 20 centimetres long. These are 15 centimetres, so I've added about 5 centimetres on because they're just ever so slightly too short, I think. So I'm going with 20 centimetres long, and then I've basically, this is the width originally, is 5 centimetres wide, so I've just cut it in half, so I've got 2.5. So I'm basically going to cut 4 pieces of vinyl with some seam allowance, and then I'm just going to fold over like the vinyl and just stitch it down. This will probably end up being on show, but this is kind of the underside will be against my hair, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, now I'm just going to cut a bunch of vinyl that is 20 centimetres long by, oh god, where's it gone? 20 centimetres long by 2.5 centimetres wide, and then just add a seam allowance to be able to fold over and stitch down. So I've made one. We'll ignore the stitching's a bit wobbly, I wasn't paying attention at that point. Whoops. But yeah, there we go. It's literally just wrapped around the horsehair braid and stitched down. So now that I've done this one, I'm going to do the same for the other 3, and then I'm going to attach more horsehair braid, but I'll show you that when I get to it. So I've sewn all of these down.
that's just what they look like. Pretty basic, pretty boring. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take 3 pieces of horsehair braid, and I'm going to like do one there, one in the middle, one on the end, and I'm just going to stitch along. It's really hard to like show you, but like there's 2 side seams. I'm going to stitch along there so that this is then stitched on, if that makes sense. This is really hard to do one-handed, so I have like a little bit of overlap, and then when it comes to pinning it into my hair, my bobby pins pin onto this. Wow, hopefully this works. I think it will. So I've sewn all of these on. Yeah, pretty simple, pretty basic. So now I'm going to mark out with a pen on these where I want to cut my holes for my studs, and then cut the holes and add them in. I am going to take the studs off these and reuse them first, because there's no point just having these lying around otherwise. So these are now done. I've literally just taken them off my wig head and realised I didn't do a video, so I'll insert a picture now if you want to see what they look like. But yeah, they're pretty much done. Thank God for screw back studs, because at least these are definitely not coming off, and they're easy to remove if I need to make any new ones or fix them or whatever. So now my crowns are done. Hopefully they will look better once my hair is actually in a faux hawk. Obviously I do have my other headbandy one which I made as a backup in case my hair does not want to cooperate, which it never does. So I'm fully prepared to not end up using these, but at least they look better than whatever these were.